Out of all the years we've been training people, we get a lot of really good questions. It's been a fun 10 years. Here's some of the answers to those questions. What's going on, everybody? Adam here from Adam's Detailing and Polishing. Time to Shine Products. GoShineOn.com/shop. Some of you know back in March we released our own products. All those are available on GoShineOn.com/shop. But I want to take a second before we start this video to thank all of you guys that are watching these videos. It really means a lot to me. You guys watching them, commenting, and sharing means that we can keep doing these videos. But one of the more common questions we get is, what advice could you give us as a new company starting up? We get a lot of new polishers through the shop, especially a lot of new guys that are training. Like I said, we do most of our training fall through winter, and one of the most common questions is, what's the best advice you can give us? Honestly, there's quite a few different things that I could tell you. I'll try and address a few of those here. But some of the best ones are: charge by the piece. Never charge by the truck. For those of you that have been around the trucking industry long enough, you understand and you know that not every truck's the same. Some trucks have gotten acided, some trucks haven't. Some trucks have 6 wheels. Some trucks have 6 wheels, 2 tanks, 2 boxes, 2 grills, air cleaners, visors, big turtle wings, like big headache racks, all kinds of stuff. The worst question I always get is, how much for the entire truck? I charge everything by the piece. And that's probably the best advice I could ever give a new polisher, is charge by the piece. Now, with that being said, I spent the better part of my first 6 years doing a ton of sanding. I know everybody sits back and goes, Evan, you do all these nice trucks, you never do stuff that's really rough. Well, that wasn't always the case. I've been polishing now for 20 years. I've built a really good clientele and a really good customer base, and a lot of my customers come back 2 to sometimes 3 times or 4 times or 6 times a year, and their trucks don't get all that bad anymore, and I don't do a whole lot of sanding. But back in the day, my first 6 years, all we did was sand. All the trucks around here, not very many people took care of their stuff. Everybody tried to keep them nice, but polishing really wasn't a thing when I first started. I mean, it was around, but it wasn't huge like it is now. So for the first 6 years of business, we did a ton of sanding. Now, we've laid all that footwork for those first 6 years, and I kept my prices fair and honest, and I give people quality work. And I feel like over those last 20 years, we've kind of filtered out a lot of the stuff that we needed to sand. We'll get a couple real nasty sand jobs every year now, but that number is significantly less. And also, I've said this in a previous video, but I don't have to sand everything to get a perfect mirror finish. If my truck's already decent, I'm going to just let it be decent and repolish it with a softer buff and a softer pad instead of having to go back and re-sand. So that's just one great thing. Next one would have to be the next great piece of advice is, don't just focus on show trucks. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my show trucks. As you can see, I've got walls covered in Rowan's posters of show trucks that I've done. When you see videos in our shop, we've got the big 10-4 posters up there with some of the show trucks. One thing I need you to understand is, show trucks have only, at max, only ever accounted for 10% on its best year of my entire business. Going to the shows are an absolute pain. It's a logistical nightmare. Getting to the shows, you've got to pay for fuel, you've got to pay for hotels. Then once you're at the show, most truck drivers come in nice and clean. Most of them don't need a whole ton of work. So you're not doing $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 jobs. You're doing $300, $400, $500, $600 jobs. And you're doing them in a very quick order because they want to get in and they need to get parked. And you can't do buffing and grinding when you're parked inside by all the rest of the trucks. So you got to get the grinding part done, get them inside and parked so you can start wiping everything down and do all the handwork inside at the shows. So on my best year, and we did, I think, 10 shows that year, it still only added up to 10% of my total business. And that year, I lost $60,000. So the amount of money that I made at the shows versus the money I spent in fuel, transportation, toll fees, hotels, food, bringing in other polishing crews to help make sure we can get it all done in order. My best year, or my worst year, was $60,000 that I lost. My best year was a break-even year. We went to four shows that year. We did really well, but we broke even. It was a very good marketing expense. As you guys know, you guys see me from the YouTube videos, you've seen me from Instagram and Facebook, so you've gotten to know me, and my name is kind of recognizable, so it means the marketing worked, but it came at a really big expense. 2 years, last year or the year before, I lost $60,000 just on shows. If I didn't have the other 90% of my business here in the shop, I would have lost a whole ton of money that year. But I'm just saying, don't let the shows dictate what you do. I do know some polishers that go to shows and do just fine. I've just never figured out that perfect equation on how to make money at the shows. So one show truck can get you 1 follower or 1,000 followers, but I'll tell you what, you do work for the work truck guys, the guys that are in your backyard, the guys that are sticking with you year in and year out. They're telling 10 people every day. When somebody hits them up, hey, nice rig going down the road, they're telling them, hey, Evan's the reason why we look this nice, or whoever your polisher is. They're gonna get your name out there fast. In those first, I don't know, 12 years, my work truck guys were who got me into the show truck scene. If it weren't for those guys, I would have never got into the show truck scene. And some of those guys just had really nice work trucks. So don't focus on just show trucks. Don't think you have to go to shows to get known. I built a name for myself before I even started going to shows. So just kind of focus on that. Try to build yourself a core group of people around you and go off of that. Next. And last but not least, stay hungry, stay humble, grind hard, all the cliche items. Dirty hands, clean money. Just work, nose down, chin up. People are gonna hate on you. They're gonna talk terrible about you, good or bad. Like, it's gonna go both ways. Stand there, take your punches. For a number of years, I fell into the let's trash everybody and try to help bring the industry up by getting everybody out. And that's not the way to do it. It honestly, you don't know what position somebody else is in. Somebody might be in a really bad spot, and the reason why their work isn't up to par is they could be a new polisher, or they could be learning, or they could just be in different financial positions that they can't afford to buy great materials or good stuff. Or there's so many different reasons why some people could be in the positions they're in. So don't let yourself fall victim to that circle of hate. I watch a lot of Gary Vee, and he always speaks about empathy, and that's one of those things that took me, I'll admit it, 20 years to try and get a good grasp on. It's still tough for me some days. Some days the haters just get the best of me, and I've got some of the big ones that hate on me, you know, some of the bigger names in the industry. So definitely stay hungry, stay humble. I do these videos because I want to help and I want to give back. There's not a lot of people that do it for the right reason. I hope these videos help for what it's worth. I really hope we're actually doing some good for people. But that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the 3 major things. I hope these help somebody. If you've come to my training course, you've heard me say a lot of these things. And above all, marketing is key. Getting your name out there, getting people to see who you are, getting people talking about your business and knowing what your business is. On top of that, show them you're a person, not just something they see on the Facebook or Instagram. Let them see that you are a person above that. If you walk up to me and talk to me at a show, I will give you the time and have a conversation with you. It may get interrupted by another person walking through, but I try to give everybody their time. If you've called me and ask me questions. You know, if you got an iPhone, I've FaceTimed you to help you try and walk through your issue or your situation. That's just my part of trying to give back and trying to stay humble, is seeing people that are in the position I was in 15, 20 years ago, being able to help them through the issue that I wish I had somebody to help me through some of those issues. Now, I won't say nobody's ever helped me out. It's just a lot of people that said they were helping me sent me in the wrong direction. They told me the wrong things to do on purpose, or they were trying to keep me in my place. I don't want to do that to anybody. I have one polisher that isn't a huge fan of me for the simple fact that he always says I don't answer his questions properly. I do answer his questions. The answers he's looking for sometimes aren't what his question pertains to. And that's a struggle, because if you call me, you can see I'm dirty, I'm filthy. Like, I work every day. I run a grinder. There's very few days where I can stay in the office and stay clean without running a grinder. If you call me, I'm running from a tank to a wheel, or a wheel to a box to a grill or whatever. So if you call me and ask me a question, I'm going to answer said question. If you have other questions, you need to ask those questions. If I answer your question but that wasn't the problem you had, I apologize. But you asked me a question and I gave you the answer to that question. I can't read minds. I'm not great. People send me pictures all the time and they're like, what am I doing wrong? Man, that's a loaded question. Like, call up Stevie Wonder, ask him what color his shirt is. Like, he's not going to be able to tell you over the phone, and he's definitely not going to be able to tell you in person because he's blind. There's so many factors that go into that. I have to know what process you did, what buffs and compounds you used. Brand doesn't really matter other than knowing what those colors of that brand means. On top of that, I need to know what process you did, what steps you took, what the temperature is. There's a lot of factors that go into that stuff. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope you guys stuck around till, I'm guessing this video is probably going to be 20 minutes long. But for those of you that are running polishing businesses or starting your own polishing businesses, this kind of stuff I feel like would have been helpful if I had known this 20 years ago when I started. So I hope you guys enjoy these. I hope you guys are actually using some of this knowledge I give you. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys. For those of you that watched all the way to the end, I thank you guys very much. Drop comments below on what other video ideas or answers you'd like answered, or questions you'd like answered, rather, or videos you'd like to see, that kind of stuff. I want to make sure that I'm putting out content that you guys want to see. I'm starting to redo some of my old videos for the simple fact that some of my old videos are simply that. They're old videos. The video quality was terrible, not that it's gotten any better now. The audio quality was super terrible back then. My polishing processes have changed, our products have changed. We're trying to get through all that stuff, and yeah, so hopefully some of these new videos are helping you guys out. I saw a lot of people are going back and watching the older videos too, so appreciate that as well. Like, comment, subscribe, you know where we're at. Appreciate you guys. Catch you next time. Bye.